Hello whiskey lovers and welcome to another one of Mark's Whiskey Ramblings. Today back in the basement, but it's a special day. It's the 4th of July, so it's a very special day for you Americans out there, and I know there's quite a few. Happy Independence Day. And I thought it was only fitting that on this festive day, this 4th of July, that we would try an American whiskey. Not just any American whiskey, we're going to be trying the 1792 Ridgemont Reserve, and it is part of the Sazerac Group. The what? You haven't heard of the Sazerac Group? Well, that company's name may not ring a bell, but if I tell you some of the names of the brands that they own, that will ring a bell. There's, for example, the Benchmark Bourbon. They've got Buffalo Trace, their most famous one. There's the Elmer T. Lee. There's the George T. Stagg, the William LaRue Weller, the Thomas H. Andy. I could go on. And, of course, also this one, the 1792 Ridgemont Reserve. By the way, did you know that it has only been called the Ridgemont Reserve since 2004? Before that, originally, they wanted to call it the Ridgewood Reserve. But Brown-Forman, that other big player who puts out the Woodford Reserve, well, they took it to court, and the court ruled in favor of Brown-Forman, hence making Sazerac having to rename their Ridgewood Reserve into the Ridgemont Reserve, 1792. Sazerac is a big player. They have about 450 different drinks in their portfolio, and among them, no less than 23 bourbons, so they are quite a big player. Well, how can they not be? They have 11 warehouses in Kentucky that currently hold maturing 335,000 barrels. That's quite a staggering number. Their washbacks, for example, well, in America they call them fermenters. If you're familiar with a washback from a Scottish distillery, if you look at the fermenter at Sazerac, wow, it's a swimming pool. You know, so it's a whole other scale in America than it is in Scotland. So, the Ridgemont Reserve, a Kentucky Straight Bourbon. That tells us a few things. First of all, it's a bourbon, and to have a bourbon, you have 4 basic rules. You know, it has to be created in America. It has to be made from at least 51% corn. It has to mature in new charred oak barrels, and it has to be bottled at least 80% proof. But when we speak of a straight bourbon, that means that it is a bourbon that has matured for at least 2 years. Because there's no real regulation. A bourbon can be bottled after 3 months, you know. But if it's a straight bourbon, then you know that it has matured for at least 2 years. Every bourbon that has matured for less than 4 years needs an age statement on the barrel. On the bottle, I mean. If it has matured for longer than 4 years, no age statement is necessary anymore. But in this case, it actually does have an age statement on it. It says here on the back label that it has, it's a small batch and has matured for over 8 years. So, quite a nice bourbon, I should say. The 1792, what does that signify? It is the year in which Kentucky became the 15th state of the United States of America. 1792, Kentucky is a state. Hooray! That is also why the Ridgemont Reserve is in fact the toasting bourbon at the yearly Kentucky Bourbon Festival. It is produced at the Barton Distilling Company in the heart of Kentucky, in the heart of bourbon country near Bardstown. That's where it's from. And it's a small batch bourbon that matured for 8 years, like I said, and it is bottled at 93.7 proof. For us Europeans, that translates into 46.85% ABV. Just divided by 2. Yeah? So, hence the 80%, the 80 proof, 40% ABV is the legal minimum required to bottle a bourbon. So, 1792. This is what they call a premium bourbon. It's being marketed as a premium bourbon. It's one of the top shelf bourbons in America. And I should say, rightfully so. I've tried it before, you see, at an American whiskey tasting here in Belgium, and it was presented by one of the brand ambassadors, James Cohen, if I'm not mistaken, and he had this one along as well, along with quite a few others. And I must say, I was so impressed with this bourbon that I immediately, as you can see, got me a bottle of this. Oh, nice bronze color. It's a bit syrupy, it clings to the glass, a bit syrupy. Very sweet. Now, most bourbons are very sweet, let's be honest. And if you drink a bourbon a day, it won't keep the doctor away. What I'm trying to say is, if you drink a bourbon a day, they may all look alike a bit. They may all taste alike a bit. But when you taste them in succession or in a lineup, you know, 4, 5, maybe 6 bourbons, you will notice quite a difference among the bourbons. And this one is hence not only very sweet, with some sweet caramel, but I also get some dark fruit and something varnish-like. Some pine cones. This is very interesting, actually. I like it already. On the palate, then. Spicy kick. The attack. Woo! Spicy. Some nutmeg. Some peppers, black peppers. But also dark fruit emerges. Of course, there's the corn is there. There's probably a bit of rye in the mix there as well, because it's very, very spicy. I get some coffee, some tobacco. It's velvety sweet, velvety soft. After the initial spicy kick, it becomes very gentle indeed. The finish is quite long. It fades very gently. This is not something I want to put in a mixer, you know. No Coke here, no ginger beer. This is what you need straight. Well, I won't mind a small ice cube when you're sitting in the sun enjoying the spring, the summer, whatever. But to really, truly appreciate this, have it neat. The finish lingers. There's some cinnamon at the back of the throat at the very end. And some toasted oak even. This is, for a bourbon, 8 years old. That's quite a beautiful age for a bourbon. Remember, in Kentucky, the weather is, the temperatures are much higher than in Scotland. So bourbons mature a lot faster. This is very nice. A very nice bourbon this is indeed. And you know what the best part is? It is, in my opinion, a steal. I can get this bottle in Belgium for less than 30 euros. That's amazing. That is a very, very nice quality price ratio, in my opinion. The 1729 Ridgemont Reserve is a bargain. And I think from now on that I have my new favorite bourbon in the cabinet. If you get a chance to try it, do not let it pass you by. This is a very nice bourbon, straight Kentucky bourbon. Nice American whiskey. What better to have on this beautiful 4th of July. I wish you all a very happy Independence Day, and I hope to see you again at one of Mark's Whiskey Ramblings real soon. Until then, may the bourbon be with you. Bye-bye.